About 6 months ago, I decided I wanted to start a brand new rock band from scratch. Back then I had a name, a logo, a whole ton of song ideas, and a whole heap of brain fog. Also, I was trying to start up a YouTube channel from scratch, and that in itself is a whole job. I'd been in a whole bunch of bands before though, so this wasn't my first venture into the music scene.
Some of the best things I ever did in a band.
I supported the alarm at the Moor in Glasgow. I did a music festival. We got into Kerrang magazine as unsigned talent.
This all happened while I was in a band in Scotland, but I would have never got into this band if I hadn't got into the first band I ever got into, which I was asked to audition for when I worked at a supermarket in Cornwall. I worked on the deli counter and the guitarist for this band worked on the chicken counter, and they were specifically looking for a female singer for their original project. It was the first band I was ever asked to audition for, and I jumped at it. This was a chance to get into an actual band. Up until then, I'd been writing songs at home. I figured very quickly that I found it quite easy to write vocals and lyrics over the top of other people's compositions. I was in the first band for about a year. Now this band was called From the Sky Down, and I called us Bedroom Warriors because we wrote about 2 albums worth of material and we only gigged once. And then I moved to Scotland. I got into a band in Scotland by searching on the website joinmyband.co.uk. The band I actually wanted to go for originally refused to audition me because they were looking for a guy, not a girl, but I convinced them to give me a shot. And after I wrote vocals to one of their tracks and auditioned it for them, they took me on. And I was in that Scottish band for about a year, and a lot of cool things happened in that band because they made stuff happen. And that is so important when you're in a band, because if you want to get anywhere, you have to get out of your own comfort zone and actually go out there and make stuff happen for yourself. No one's going to do it for you.
Unfortunately, the bassist left, and I was actually considering moving to the other end of the UK. And I was speaking to my neighbour about this because I wasn't really sure what to do. My neighbour was called G at the time. G. And G said to me, she was like, you should just start up your own band. You can do it, you know. And after a bit of hesitation, that's exactly what I did. I got in touch with a guitarist that I used to work with. I'd been looking for musicians and I just couldn't find any that were at the level that I wanted to work at. And I was finding it really difficult to get musicians on board as a lyricist and a singer. So I spoke to this guy, he's called Ben Gallagher. And I was like, can you just help me get some songs to help me get some bandmates on board? And he said, yeah. So we decided to do 1 to 3 tracks, and what started off as an EP, I guess, ended up being a 12-track album. So I'd already written an album for the band before I even had a band together.
This left me with a whole load of songs, but still no bandmates. So I decided to take the opportunity to be creative and come up with a bunch of music videos. They started off with me and a couple of friends with a camera, just basically experimenting and giving it a go.
Did you have fun? I had so much fun. Did you? I did.
We tried out different things, from lots of props to different outfits, filming in a studio to filming in the woods.
I am so confused.
After a few videos though, I enlisted some expert help from a guy called Robert Duran, who now owns his own media company. And it was literally the most fun I've ever had. This is what helped me get musicians on board. Because I had music and music videos actually showing what I had to offer, it made finding musicians a lot easier. I advertised on joinmyband.co.uk and I found my bandmates. I had 2 lineups for this band, and both lineups got an amount of attention. We played sold out shows.
and we got on to BBC Introducing multiple times, and there was a local level of buzz, and that's something not to be underestimated because these people really cared about the music and the band, and yeah, it was going really well.
In the end though, I ended up leaving both the bands. The first band I left just because I knew I was willing to give more to it and I wanted more from it than the other guys. I just had to call it.
It's hard to keep up. Yeah.
I moved to a bigger city nearer London, somewhere where I thought that I would get more opportunity. And then I put together the second lineup of the band pretty quickly once I'd moved. Our debut literally sold out and there was a queue out the door. But not long afterwards, my personal life burst into flames.
I won't go too much into detail because this doesn't just concern me, but during a 6-month period, I lost a friend, and then shortly afterwards, a 10-year relationship I was in completely broke down and ended, and in the process, my dogs got rehomed, and it just happened within such a short amount of time, within 6 months, and completely broke me. I have never felt more lost in my entire life. This was a couple of years ago though, and I've taken a lot of time off. I've taken the time I need to grieve and to breathe and to do the work I need within myself to heal, and I feel like it's working slowly but surely, and I can finally connect with my emotions again, because I went through a period where I just couldn't. I was just very numb. A few years later, and I found myself craving to get back to music. For me, giving up music was like trying to run without legs. Without music in my life, my world seemed to just stand still. I was inspired again. I wanted to write again. I found myself singing songs in the shower for the first time in ages. I think it's taken me the last 6 months to realise that I really want this. When you start something new, you have to know that you want it. Because if you don't really want something, you won't prioritise it. And if you don't prioritise it, it will likely never happen. You know, to start something creative, like a big creative project or a music project or any big dream that you've ever had, it does take a lot of effort and time and grit and perseverance, and those are all things that I know I have within me. I think you have to be sure sometimes, and it's taken me this long to be sure. It's gonna take time and effort and patience, but you don't get any opportunities at all if you don't try. I'm excited. My favourite saying used to be, a setback is just a setup for a comeback, but now I prefer, you're never starting from zero, you're starting from experience. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get all my latest updates, and let's see where this journey is going to take me. I'm so excited.